Welcome bitches, one and all, to my reaction to Season 4, Episode 12 of The Vampire Diaries, A View to Kill. Now, last time, we ended on a very intriguing / surprising idea from Elena, where she proposed that the way to solve all of their issues is to kill Kol, because that will, 1, eliminate him as a threat, and 2, allow Jeremy to, fill the ledger of the amount of vampires that he has to kill, because due to Kol's vast bloodline, it can all be done in one. Now, do I actually think that this will happen? I don't know, honestly, because I'm torn, because a part of me, you could probably count it as a spoiler, because I remember going into the Vampire Diaries, I'd seen promotional material for both the Vampire Diaries and the originals. I think it was like posters, if I remember correctly. And I remember when we were first introduced to the originals that I recognized Rebekah, Elijah, and Klaus, but I've never recognized Finn and Kol. And I even recognized Haley. I'm pretty sure Haley is going to feature somewhat within the originals because I remember her face on the artwork. So I remember saying, I was like, no, but there was this brown-haired girl as well. And then when Haley came along much later, I was like, that's who I saw. But I didn't recognize Kol. So he could die, he could be eliminated here, or he could go into hiding and he just shows up later in the original show. I don't know, but that's like the spoilery aspect that's leading me to think that he will be killed. But in terms of like the story itself, I don't know. It could go one of two ways. Like, he could very easily be murdered, because then not only would that provide an immediate interesting storyline, but also later on, given that he has a bloodline, all of those vampires dying due to the actions of Elena and the group, that could birth new villains later on who say someone's loved one died because they killed Kol and they were part of that bloodline. Do you get what I mean? Like, there's so many ways that this can go because there are so many dominoes that will be knocked. So I don't know. A part of me does actually want it to happen in that case because it could just be a really interesting thing to explore. But yes, anyway, I'm done speculating. With all of that said, very excited to get into it and see where the story goes. So without further ado, let's go. I'm not going to lie. I forgot about Stefan and Rebekah. Yeah, my boy, you made some decisions. You made some decisions. A part of me doesn't want to judge, but I mean...
Leaving so soon?
Oh, fuck. Interesting.
Tried to kill me last night. I didn't forget.
Yes,
yeah.
Well, unfortunately, he seems to have absconded with my set of daggers.
Oh.
Poor Nick. However will you get your way without your precious daggers?
Get him, Rebekah.
And leave myself unprotected. You can file that request under no chance in hell.
Yep.
Be gone by the time I've showered. Lurkers unwelcome here.
Like, don't get me wrong, Rebekah's done some shit, but I do really like her.
If you let Kol roam free, then Jeremy won't live to see his junior prom and we can kiss our map to the cure goodbye.
I mean, according to Elena, she already has a plan in place, though.
Why does it sound like you're under fire?
Apparently, I'm living in a fraternity house now.
I'm training. Me too.
I want Jeremy to kill Kol. If Jeremy kills Kol, every vampire that he's ever turned, not to mention everyone that they've turned, will die.
She is taking a bit of a risk there because, like, that's very... You know when you're looking for a... What is it called? Why can't I think today? When you're, like, reading between the lines of something, where it's like, if Jeremy kills Kol, and that results in all of those other vampires dying, how do you know that by, like, the laws of the universe... that those other deaths will count towards the mark? You know, like, you're very much gambling on the idea that Jeremy has killed them, whereas, like, at the end of the day, it could just count that he's killed one because he's killed Kol, and that has resulted in many other deaths, but Jeremy didn't go out of his way to kill those people. Do you get what I mean? Like, they're relying on a very up in the air solution, you know?
Do you think Caroline will notice if there's only 89 red balloons?
Probably, knowing Caroline. Has he poisoned their water supply with Vervain?
Dump Vervain into the water supply? Where did you even get it?
I have my sources. I'm also reinstating the curfew and canceling all town events.
Good, this fucking town doesn't need any more events.
Would you like me to read you all the names of the people that have gone missing or died in tragic accidents in your senior year alone? Head straight home, please. We're having a family meeting.
Like, I know that it's very annoying for Bonnie, but at the end of the day, this guy's...
No one can get to the cure if you're too dead to find it.
Oh! Bon. Fuck him up. Yeah, run. But yeah, get absolutely fucked, Cole. You thought it would be that easy to take out our bonbon? Nah.
Hello, mate.
Hello.
How are you doing here? Babysitting.
If he gets too much strength back, or if he just annoys you, bleed him out again.
Stefan.
Caught him trying to sneak out of Rebekah's bed this morning, which would suggest to me that he's moved on.
Looks like my brother ripped out a page of my revenge sex handbook.
Yep, exactly.
I'll let you know when I get the dagger from Rebekah.
Ugh. At the end of the day, what are you gonna do? Two brothers who are after the same girl and like she's choosing one. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's just fucking complicated. It is what it is. There's gonna be animosity.
Cole just tried to kill Bonnie. You managed to hold him off, but Cole seems pretty intent on murdering anyone who's looking for that cure.
Yeah.
I don't want to just dagger Cole. I want Jeremy to kill him.
Helena, shush. Like, don't get me wrong. I understand that they need to have some kind of communication, but at the end of the day, Elena needs to be really careful with saying all of this stuff out loud, because not only can they hear her at the other end of the phone, like Klaus might be able to hear this conversation, but you never know if Cole's like watching the house and he might be able to hear you and then defend himself. Do you get what I mean? Like, you gotta be really careful with what you say out loud in this show.
But they stick together no matter what.
Family is family.
That's why you need to find the dagger and use it on Rebekah. She can't come looking for revenge if she's laying in a box.
Yeah, I can't do that.
Yeah, he can't.
All right, fine. But how do you plan to lure Cole in?
If Stefan does this, what will that do to Rebekah's mind to be betrayed again?
I want to call a truce in the name of Silas.
How about I come to you?
Huh?
Open the door and invite me in.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. You can go fuck yourself.
And I've heard that Vervain's back.
Help Stefan find the dagger. Okay.
You think being alive for over 1,000 years would teach me some manners, but I couldn't resist stopping by.
If I let you in, my brother goes. You're not getting near him.
Fair enough. You could come in.
Oh, those words just make me feel so uncomfy.
I know you were trying to sneak out this morning. I'm not stupid.
Sorry, I'm still trying to get used to this.
Do you regret it?
No,
Do you want it to happen again?
maybe.
Interesting. I do have a few thoughts about Stefan and Rebekah. One, if Stefan does this, if Stefan finds the dagger and has Matt dagger Rebekah, wow, that... I don't know how I feel about that, because Rebekah has just been betrayed over and over and over again. And yes, I know she's done fucked up things, do not get me wrong, but at the end of the day, I just feel so bad for her. Like, her brother has continuously betrayed her, Stefan betrayed her, like, anyone that she wants to get close to has betrayed her, so it just fucking sucks. So I really hope that they don't go through with this, but like Stefan said, if they do kill Cole, Klaus and Rebekah are not going to be happy about that. Klaus and Rebekah are going to want revenge. And yes, Cole might have gone for Rebekah, but family is family. And I don't think that that would stop them from getting their revenge. But moving on from that side of things, in terms of relationship side of things between Stefan and Rebekah, I don't know. They could work. They really could, because they obviously had some kind of fling in the past. And yes, Stefan was very different back then, but they both seem different. Like, Rebekah seems very, I think the hurt and the betrayal has changed her a bit. In a lot of ways in the negative sense, because she's not very trusting. But since we first met her, I don't know. I do like her. I do. Even after being hurt so much, she is still quite a vulnerable person. And she has a lot of redeeming qualities about her. I don't like how she is towards Elena. I don't like how if someone wrongs her, she immediately goes for the dagger for revenge, you know, but she does have a lot of redeeming qualities, and I think that they could work. So I'm not against this. I just hope it starts not on a bed of lies. You know, I hope that Stefan doesn't betray her trust and dagger her. But then again, like, what? It's just so complicated, because then what do you want him to do? Unless they make it as if Matt had wanted to dagger her all along and Stefan had nothing to do with it. I don't know. But yeah, I'm rambling now. Let's just get on with it.
Why do you care so much about a high school dance?
I don't. I was just bored.
Well, we could still go, if you want.
Not if it's cancelled. We can't.
Yeah, you can.
Since when do you care about the rules?
Yeah, fuck it. Go dance by yourselves. Have a good time.
How is it that she manages to overlook every horrific thing you've ever done? It can't just be the sire bond. What is it? Compulsion? Manipulation?
Love? You know what I mean? Like,
What is it you say to her?
Is he asking because of Caroline or something?
I think that this has something to do with a certain blonde vampire.
Oh my god, Klaus, back the fuck up.
See, I don't mind being the bad guy because somebody has to fill that role and get things done. You do bad things for no reason. Do them to be a dick.
You're going to be bad for a purpose. Otherwise, you're not going to be worthy of forgiveness. Interesting.
And I'm willing to give up looking for it if you promise to leave my brother alone. Now, can you teach me how to make this?
I mean, to be honest, given Elena's track record, if I was Cole, I would be leaning towards believing her because she would do anything for her family, even give up the cure, you know? Oh.
Cole is in our house. We need you.
Where would she be?
I'm headed to your house now.
Maybe if her dad's confiscated her phone?
I've killed once. Guessing your number's a lot higher than mine.
Huh.
You lose track over the years?
Yep. My god, Matt, this is a very dangerous game, my boy. So this was the plan then. Stefan take her to the dance to distract her while he looks.
I used to run with some witches, New Orleans in the 1900s. They all knew about Silas, that he needed to stay buried.
That makes a lot more sense because I was wondering, because as far as we knew when I was talking earlier, he had only found this like cult of worshippers and immediately believed them. That's why I was a bit like, huh? Like, what? Why are you just believing this bunch of, not to be rude, but crazy people for all he knows, you know? So I was a little bit weirded out by how seriously he took that. So it makes a lot more sense that after running into multiple groups of witches who know the same story, you know, it would be a lot more understandable why he would be terrified. So, okay.
Why are you so afraid of him?
They said if Silas rises, he'll unleash hell on earth.
What does that mean?
I have to get to Elena's. Have you seen my phone?
I've got your phone and I've got your car keys.
I knew it, you bastard.
I've called you like 100 times. Cole is in our house.
I said no.
You can't stop her.
Stop telling me.
Bon, I agree, but...
No one's going anywhere. Huh?
Well,
Abby.
hello, Abby. Long time no fucking see. God, when he said family meeting, he meant family meeting.
Need Bonnie's help.
My daughter is done helping Elena Gilbert.
You have no say in Bonnie's life.
What lies has this professor been telling you?
Don't! Jeremy!
Jeremy!
Stop!
I know he can't control it, but Jeremy.
Don't hurt her. She's my mom.
Good job, Bon.
You want to talk? Let's talk.
Make it quick.
Just seems odd that you'd be so willing to give up something you want so much.
To save her brother? You obviously do not allow Elena at all.
Is there any chance that you could be wrong about Silas?
Trust me, Elena. Some things are better left buried.
I do fear he's correct. Honestly, like, they're all talking about getting this cure and everything to help Elena, but you do not know who Silas is. Like, you can get the cure, but then you've woken up something that you have no idea what his goals are.
You got any requests for the DJ?
Oh, this is actually really cute.
I'll let you pick. Nothing cheesy.
Thing is, though, why not assume that no matter where she goes, she has the dagger on her, you know?
That better not be a corsage. I loathe corsages.
These were all the rage in the 80s.
Aww, what is that, a koala? I'm not gonna lie, guys, they're actually really fucking cute. Like, I know that he's like half deceiving her right now, but pretty fucking cute.
I've considered your request for a truce. Request denied.
I've already been invited in!
Shit.
They found a cure, Mom. There's a cure for vampirism, and I can do the spell to access it. I can save you.
I didn't consider that she'd want the cure for her mum.
I'm not
Interesting.
the one that needs to be saved. You are.
Wow. Only problem with that, Abby, is that once Bonnie wakes up, she's not in complete control of her magic right now. You could have just set the bomb off.
She's met me. She knows impulse control's not my strong suit.
Must be hard trying to live up to Stefan.
Obviously, Klaus is trying to, like, stake the fire right now. But I never actually considered that impulse control is not his specialty. I mean, I don't agree with what Klaus is saying anyway. I think it was clear that there were at least a couple times where Damon was resisting the compulsion. So, don't agree with that. But it is an interesting concept that it's the same with the idea of, like, a drug addict like Vicky becoming a vampire, how she would become addicted. It's like Damon is already bad at impulse control. So when you're dealing with a compulsion and trying to like actually fight it when you don't want to, do you get what I mean? Like, that's such an interesting concept.
Personally, I don't see a fairy tale ending for you. All I see is Stefan and Elena.
I disagree. I think personality-wise, Elena will be the exact same person she is right now. It doesn't like unmature you, you know?
Do you know that your darling former blood bag and her brother are trying to kill me?
I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm going to rip off Jeremy's arm and kill Elena just for sport. Then I'm coming for you.
Shit. Oh, nice one, Elena.
Maybe you're right. Maybe she's written me up. Tell me what you know.
I don't think he knows anything, does he?
I don't know anything about a plan.
He's literally been stuck here.
I can't listen to this music without thinking of my best friend, Lexi. She was fearless. Kind of like you.
You slept with her too?
No, it wasn't like that.
An actual friend.
That looked right there. That is why I don't let myself care.
Well, you can say that, but we both know it's not true.
You care, Rebekah.
I'll protect you if Cole tracks his way to this abandoned dance.
I know that, yeah. Of course she has it on her.
Well, are you coming?
Oh my god, Elena, this is so dangerous, hun. Especially now that we know Bonnie is not coming.
Missed.
Nice. Jesus. No. Oh. Stomach, not heart, yeah? Stomach, not heart. Yeah, okay. Even though it's horrible, we know that she's not dead.
Take off your shoes. You'll be fine, okay?
This is what you want, right?
I hate this. I hate it so much. I'm excited to see what she says because I don't want to hear her perspective, but it's just, oh, it fucking sucks because she just cannot trust people. Any genuine moment she has, she can't trust people. She gets daggered by Klaus. She then is having a conversation with Stefan about a past loved one and how they died and all of that shit. Gets daggered by Stefan, is having a moment here where she thinks this has actually been a really nice night. We're having fun. And then right at the end of it, of course, he just wants the dagger. You know what I mean? I just feel so fucking bad for her. Honestly, she never catches a break. Ever. I just hope, if not in the Vampire Diaries, then I hope that at least in the originals, we get to see Rebekah actually experience a good fucking life. You know? This girl, she's been taken advantage of over and over.
You're right. I do care. I want to be human. So let Klaus put down my brother and let's go find the cure.
Come on, let's go home.
Good job.
Until I can get some witches here to clean her mind from that poison that professor's been teaching her.
That's not happening.
Oh, shit.
I don't belong to the spirits anymore. I belong to myself. Sorry.
Oh, Bon. Jesus. I mean, go off. They need you. Oh, Elena, my darling. Oh, my darling. Oh. Nice, Elena. But careful. Oh, Elena. Oh, I'm terrified, bro. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. They did it. Get absolutely fucked. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
I want the cure so I can destroy it. I would have killed you all the second we dug it up. But now I'm just gonna watch you burn instead.
Interesting. So his plan was to just kill them all and destroy the cure because he didn't want them to use it as a weapon against him. Okay. That does make sense, but I don't know. Part of me is still a bit surprised by that because I was genuinely, even after the betrayal of the former hybrids, I was genuinely thinking that he wanted more of them, but that does make sense because he did mention in an episode before about them using it as a weapon against him. Now, in terms of his reaction here, I mean, it was expected. I think that no matter how much they bicker, no matter how much they betray each other, they are the only originals. They are the only, like, permanent immortals, apart from this one dagger that can kill them. They are all that they have, so it is understandable, but fuck me. How are they going to get out of this? How are they ever going to protect themselves from Klaus? Like, if he's feeling this hurt by his brother, what are they going to do? They can't escape him. We're all the way back to, what was it, the season 2 finale, where they were originally being hunted by Klaus? Like, we're back to square one of how the fuck do we get away from this man? I mean, maybe Bonnie can do something. Maybe Bonnie can, like, somehow put him to sleep without the need of a dagger or anything, but I don't know, because we're dealing with a whole new branch of magic with Bonnie. We don't know what she's capable of, so I guess we'll see.
Invite him in. Do it.
Come in.
Why? Why did she want them to invite him in? Interesting.
I will hunt all of you to your end.
I'm sure he will.
So you knew
And you can hate me for it, but now he can't hurt you either. And I want us to find this cure together, you and me. Everyone deserves a second chance, right?
I don't know where her head's at.
Why would I trust you?
I guess I could give you my word.
Don't mean much.
But at the end of the day, you just have to take a leap.
Interesting.
I drew on the new moon to bind the spell. Got 3 days to find that cure. 4. Now that we've got Rebekah taken care of, all we need is Professor Shane.
Oh, Elena. Oh, that's a sore spot. That's a sore spot. Well, is like Rebekah outside the front door or something, and Stefan's like, surprise. But fuck me. I hate this. I hate it so much. It just makes me feel so uncomfortable.
What?
I didn't need to. She's on our side.
Why would you possibly think that you could trust her?
Pledged her allegiance to you while you're naked in the sack.
Uh-oh. I hate this so much.
You know, why don't you tell her to calm down? You've managed to use that sire bond pretty well so far, haven't you?
Oh. I'm sorry, but that was really funny. I'm sorry, that was really funny.
You can see it?
So it must be complete then, if they can see it. I assume that's what that means. Boom.
Here we go.
Is that the end? Broski, no! Oh, that's so annoying. Holy fuck, though. What an interesting development. We have a lot to talk about. So yes, there we have season 4, episode 12 of The Vampire Diaries. That was one of those very few times where I genuinely, God, what is going on with my hair? I genuinely did not realize how much time had passed. Like, I did not think we were at the end of the episode. Like, it makes sense when I think about everything that happened, but I was gripped. Now, I think it's probably a good idea to talk about relationships above anything else, because even though a lot happened storyline-wise, it was mostly the relationships that have been affected this episode, because let's start with, like, the major one in the Kol is dead. I would say it wasn't... I'd say it was more like I was about 75% thinking that he probably will die, but then 25% not, because I did have a few, like, like, hints in the, I had seen the promotional work for the originals, he wasn't in that, so I was a bit like, it's adding up that he might be dead, but there was a part of me that still didn't believe that they would go through with it, but there we go, one of the 4 remaining originals. That means that 40% of the original family are dead, which... the math doesn't work that way in terms of how many vampires there are. Like, that doesn't mean that 40% of vampires are dead, because obviously Finn didn't really change many people. And then when it comes to Kol was around for a lot longer, and I think he will have a high percentage. But in regards to the other 3, I think that they are taking up a huge portion of this. With Kol alive, that 80%, I would say that, probably like 10% might have been Kol, which is still a huge amount of vampires to be dead. So I'm positive that we will see the repercussions of that going forward. But in terms of the relationships, I don't think it's surprising how either of them reacted, because I think that I don't think that Rebekah's just moved on. I don't think Rebekah's like, oh, that was fucking sad, but maybe I can get the cure now so everything's fine. Like, that's not the case. She is still upset about it, and she obviously had a very emotional reaction to finding out that he was dead, but I also don't find it surprising that she wouldn't have immediately gone hunting for everyone and, like, gone and killed Elena immediately, you know? I think that after what we discussed this episode and finding the cure and all that, I think that does really speak to Rebekah, and that is something that she really wants. And at the end of the day, her brother tried to kill her, and we know what Kol is like. I don't think she's sitting there not believing that he went to kill Jeremy, you know? So I think it's understandable. I think she understands why what was done had to be done, even if it is shit. Now, Klaus, again, even though I think that killing Kol was all that they could really do, like, they weren't exactly going to be able to make it out without killing him, I think that Klaus's reaction is still understandable, because at the end of the day, even if he did lock his family away for hundreds of years, and anytime they crossed him, he would just be like, right, dagger. Even though that is the case, I think that all of that comes from him wanting them to love him, and it all comes from him loving them in return, even though he has a weird way of showing it. So it does make complete sense that he would have this reaction, and I don't know what they're going to do, because say they find this cure. Say they find it, and they cure Elena, they, like, do all that. This doesn't solve the Klaus issue. The only way you'll do that is if you go and cure Klaus, which, I'm going to be honest, knowing that there is a TV show called The Originals that has, like, what? Isn't it, like, 5 seasons? that happens at the end of this season, I don't think neither Rebekah or Klaus are going to be cured. I don't think that will happen, because what will a show be when Elijah is the only actual vampire? You know, like I don't think it's going to happen. I think that they're all going to be vampires still. So in regards to the cure, I don't know if that means that Elena will get the cure and no one else, or if no one is going to get it, because I don't really want Elena to become a human again, because even though it wouldn't change her that much, like, I'm of the firm opinion that if you give the cure to Elena, she will be the exact same person she is right now, but she won't have her vampire abilities. I don't think it's going to change her personality. Yes, it would dim some of the emotions, because obviously they've been heightened as a vampire, so they will be dimmed, but I don't think it'll affect who she is and the decisions that she's made, because unlike Stefan, I think that the sire bond has not affected her actions, or, well, it's affected her actions, but you know what I mean? It's not affected her feelings. She's done what she would have done anyway, you know? She loves she loves Damon, and even though she has some love for Stefan, I think that she just matured and realized that that wasn't what she wanted anymore, which is fine. We all go through that. The person that you're in love with at the age of 18, you might not love them at the age of like 26. Do you know what I mean? Like, people change, your desires change, your wants change. It's all part of being human, unfortunately. And yes, there are positives and negatives to that, but it's all part of being human, you know? So it just is what it is. And I think that this is who Elena is. Now, moving on from the original family stuff, let's talk about Damon and Stefan. And it's a really weird thing to talk about, to be honest, because I personally have not seen a storyline like this before, where you've got two brothers going after the same girl, and then she is originally going out with one brother, but then falls in love with the other. And like, it's just such a unique relationship dynamic that I really struggle to comment on it, because I completely understand where everyone's coming from. Elena has every right to be with who she wants to be with, but then it's not as simple as it would be if they weren't brothers. Like, if they weren't brothers, it would be so simple. It would be cut Stefan off. Well, more so, Stefan cut Elena off because he has been hurt. Kind of just try and move on with your life, not dealing with it, and then you will slowly heal over time. Whereas when you're dealing with the fact that it's his brother, you can't get away from that. A brother is for life. It is what it is, you know? So it's going to be a constant problem. It's going to be a constant pain for Stefan. So I think that although it's very complex right now storyline-wise, because he can't just leave, if I was Stefan and all of this stuff with Silas wasn't going on, I would just leave and just try and get some distance from everyone, because you can't be expected to stay in the same town and behave like everything it was the way it was before, like Elena telling you to go and stab Rebekah, and then you're all part of this group of friends that are doing everything to help each other. Like, it's not the same as it was before. He's had his heart broken. So I completely understand where he's coming from, and that's why it sucks, because there's no real bad guy here, you know? Like, we're all human. They've all just done what they will do. Like, Elena can't help who she's falling in love with, and she's getting in a relationship with that person, and it's gonna fucking hurt Stefan, but it's not her fault. So it's just kind of like, it is what it is, you know? Just fucking sucks. There's no real way out of this. There's no real solution except time. And like I said, the only real way I know to get through things like this is distance, but he can't do that. So it's just like, what do you really want anyone to do right now? It's just shit. Now, moving on from that dynamic, we have Rebekah and Stefan, which it fucking sucks to see Rebekah continuously get betrayed. And that moment in the school when he said about taking the shoes off, you just saw that like look of realization on her face, just like, okay, here it is. This is what he wants. Am I surprised? No, because everyone's always betraying me. No one's really just trying to hang out and have a good time with me, which it really hurts to see. I just constantly feel bad for Rebekah, even though she's done some really fucked up things, and she is the reason that Elena is a vampire right now. Like, there's so many things that she has done, but then there's so many things that everyone else has done. And I don't think that Rebekah has really had any good out of this. Like, even though everyone has done some shit things and had things happen to them, they've all kind of got some happiness out of it at some point in time. Like, even Stefan, he had these happy times with Elena, even though it's shit now. Whereas for Rebekah, she's never really had a break. Like, ever since Stefan leaving her back in, what was it, the 40s or the 30s or the 20s? I think it was the 20s, wasn't it? But yeah, ever since that time, and then getting daggered and waking up again, she's never had a peaceful, happy moment because it's always been ruined by something else, you know? So I just genuinely feel really bad for her. And I think that her and Stefan could genuinely make a very interesting and, after this episode, a very cute couple. So I am very open to seeing where they go, to be honest. I'm very open to seeing if they do form a relationship. But then again, actually, because I don't know how the dynamic is going to work between the Vampire Diaries and the originals in terms of like two separate shows. I don't know if they're really going to be separate, like different cast. You're never going to see them interact. And even if you do, it would be like one episode per season. I don't know about that. So if they are quite separate, which I think they would be, like looking at it logically and how spin-off shows normally work, I don't know if Stefan and Rebekah can be a couple. Because then, unless Stefan leaves the Vampire Diaries and goes to the originals, which it is a possibility, I don't think it would happen, only because Stefan, Damon, and Elena are like the faces of the show. They are like the core three. So I don't know if they would move him over, but maybe. You never know. So yes, I believe I've covered all of the main things I wanted to talk about. So let's move on to Patreon questions. Right, first up, what do you think of Damon's legendary quotes so far explaining his life philosophy? This last one being, if you're going to be bad with purpose. Otherwise, you're just not worth forgiving. I mean, he does have some very legendary quotes. And there are so many times where Damon says something and I have to literally sit here and I'm like, huh. Interesting. And it even happened this episode with that exact quote because it had me sitting here thinking about it because it's true. That's the thing. It's true because I'm sitting here. I literally said it this episode that I wonder why I have such a hard time forgiving Klaus over the others. Why I have such a hard time thinking that Klaus is worse than the others because morally they're all kind of on the same playing field. And this is the reason why. Because when the others have done things, when the others have done bad things, it's been for a reason. Like, you look at Caroline killing those deputies, it was to save her friends. You look at, well, actually, Elena's killing is a bit complicated because of the sire bond, but you look at the others, you look at Stefan, you look at Damon, apart from, like, the Ripper killings and, like, very early days Damon, a lot of the times people have just killed people for reasons. They've killed people because it helps to advance the goal of the group. Whereas for Klaus, it's only ever really been for revenge. Like when he killed Carol Lockwood, that was revenge. When he stabbed his siblings, that was revenge. A lot of what drives Klaus is people betray him and he kills them for it, you know? And I don't like that. That's always felt worse to me than, for instance, this episode, them killing Kol to protect each other. Do you get what I mean? Like that feels better. It's still bad, but it feels better than going on a revenge killing. But when you look at it, we're talking about the, what's the word? We're talking about the difference between one murder and another. At the end of the day, they're all murder. You're all killing people. So, like, if we're actually looking at this from a normal moral standard, they're all fucking horrible. But if we're looking at it from, like, our Vampire Diaries looking glass, it feels worse when you look at Klaus because there's never a reasoning. And to loop back to the question, sorry, I went on a bit of a tangent. To loop back to the question, the reason Damon is such an interesting character is, this quote explains it so perfectly. He's not just bad. He's not just a villain. He's not just someone who does bad things. It's more complicated than that. He does bad things for a reason, and he also does good things on top of that. So it just makes for such a complicated and interesting character. But I will say, over these last few episodes, it has become interesting to me, at least, my own, what's the word? Like, prejudices towards Klaus. I don't know if that is the right phrasing, but in terms that he hasn't really done much wrong when you compare him to the others. Like, they've all kind of done the same things. I just view one form of murder as worse than the other, which doesn't make sense. So it's kind of like, it's been very eye-opening to me that I shouldn't judge Klaus as hard as I do. And I want to try and get past that. I really do, but it's hard. It is hard because he's portrayed as the villain in the story. So it's a lot easier to hate him than it is the others. Now, moving on from that, our, I believe, next and final question. Yeah, our next and final question. What are your thoughts regarding what Klaus said to Damon about Stefan and Elena and Damon's future with Elena? I don't agree, because Klaus is looking at it as if he's looking at it similar to the way that Stefan and Caroline were looking at it, where they think that becoming a vampire and the sire bond have really affected Elena's decision making and affected her personality, which I don't agree with. I think that all changing into a vampire really did was it matured Elena. It made her have to sit down and think about what she really wants because her emotions were heightened. Her emotion of love for Damon was heightened, so she had to actually take a hard, long look in the mirror and think, fuck, I can't suppress this any longer. I can't not think about it any longer. I have to act on it. And I think that that's all it was. I think that if you give this cure to Elena and she becomes a human again, yes, her emotions will be diminished, but will it change how she feels? Will it change her actions? Like, will she regret what she did? I don't think so. I think she's going to be the exact same Elena as she was this episode, just a human and not a vampire. So I do completely disagree, but those were painful words because I think that Damon does believe that. I think that what Klaus was saying is what Damon thinks, which is sad, but then again, we're all talking about this as if Elena is going to get the cure, which I'd say I'm tipping along the... I was a bit 50-50 because thinking about the story, I don't know where it's going, but with all the thoughts of like Rebekah and Klaus getting the cure and what it means waking Silas up, like, are you just going to get the cure from him and he'll be on his willy-nilly way? Like, it doesn't really make sense. So I'm kind of leaning more towards no one's going to get the cure at this point. But speaking about that, there is one thing that I wanted to talk about, which I hadn't really thought about until just now. Sorry, I'm holding my hand cream. We've always spoken about the fact of your emotions being heightened when you go from a human to a vampire, but we've never considered the opposite way round of going from a vampire to a human, because what would it be like having your emotions diminished? Would it feel like you're depressed? Like, would it feel like your emotions are no longer there? Like, if you're insanely in love with someone as a vampire and then you suddenly become a human, how would that fuck with your head? Because you wouldn't be as in love with them because it's physically impossible. Your heightened emotions have now gone back to a human level, which, even though that's normal, once you've tasted those heightened emotions, how would it feel going back to normal? Like, that's such an interesting concept. So, like, at the end of the day, even if she does get this cure, maybe it will affect her, but not in the way that they're thinking. Not in the way that it would, like, make her go back to Stefan, but more so that it would just fuck with her emotions completely. I'm very intrigued to see where we go on the rest of the season. But yes, anyway, with all of that said, that was another fantastic episode of the Vampire Diaries. We are just over the midway point after this episode. We have 10 episodes left of the season. That is a good chunk to still explore, and I'm very excited to see where we go. I'm excited to see. I hope that the finale isn't them waking up Silas. I hope that we wake up Silas in, like, I don't know, like 5 episodes or something, just so that we have a, like, I want the main storyline of the season, not the main storyline of the season, sorry, I misspoke. I want the end storyline. Like, I want the finale to be focused on something to do with Silas's plan, because I really want to see what Silas wants out of life. I really want to see what Silas is going to do when he's woken up. So I hope that in like 5 episodes we wake him up. And then, I mean, we've actually got a time limit now, don't we? Because Bonnie said we got like 4 days from when Klaus is going to be free. So maybe they'll wake him up in the next couple of episodes even, because that could be very interesting to explore. Like having what? Like 7 episodes of Silas to explore. I hope that is the case, but yes, I'm gonna keep rambling. Let's just move on. But yes, thank you very much for watching. It has been an absolute pleasure as always. I've left a link down below to my Patreon where you'll be able to find the early and uncut reactions to the Vampire Diaries and all the other shows that I do. I've also left a link to my Twitch, my Discord, and my socials, so be sure to follow them if you are interested. And Jess, thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye bye.